Welcome to Concept Craft. We are presenting step-by-step videos training to crack your certification exam, so you can gain the confidence to take on any accounting challenge. Now let's begin our today's lesson. Managing transactions in batches. Learning outcomes. In this lesson, we'll cover managing transactions in batches in QuickBooks Online Advanced. Topics: using batch transactions, overview of the batch transaction screen, batch creating invoices, batch importing options with QuickBooks Online Advanced, using the batch transaction screen to import in batches, fixing issues with batch importing, repetitive tasks. Companies that offer their customers a standard set of products and services often find themselves manually entering similar transactions into their books. Repetitive manual entry is tedious, inefficient, and prone to mistakes. How can QuickBooks Online Advanced help? With QuickBooks Online Advanced, clients can import or create transactions in batches. This makes repetitive tasks faster and more accurate, and allows clients more time to run their businesses. Using batch transactions. The batch transaction screen in QuickBooks Online Advanced makes it easy for clients to enter transactions in batches. They can also duplicate transactions and customize them for each customer, saving a lot of time in data entry. QuickBooks Online Advanced allows users to batch create invoices, bank deposits, sales receipts, bills, expenses, checks. Overview of the batch transaction screen. To access the batch transaction screen, select plus new and then batch transactions. Select each of the highlighted areas to find out more. In the Select Transaction Type drop-down, choose the transaction type to batch create. Note that the options on the screen might change depending on the selected transaction type. In the Action drop-down, choose whether to create, modify, or delete transactions. Create. This action allows the user to create a new invoice. They can then duplicate it for many different customers and modify each invoice to match the product and/or service delivered. Modify. This allows users to batch change variables. It lets users add email addresses, change the dates on multiple invoices, or add new line items to multiple invoices on one screen. Delete. This lets users batch delete transactions that were, for example, accidentally imported. Note that the modify and delete options are only available with invoices. With all other transaction types, clients can only batch create transactions. Clients can batch import transactions by selecting the Import CSV button. Note that this option is currently unavailable with bank deposits. Use the grid gear icon to select which columns to show on the screen or rearrange their order. Because many columns can be off-screen, customizing them can help clients focus on the details they need. Batch creating invoices. Let's see how clients can use the batch transaction screen to duplicate an invoice they use for recurring services for multiple customers. Select plus new and then batch transactions. Choose invoices from the Select Transaction Type drop-down. From the Action drop-down, select Create. Select options to customize the columns if necessary and select Apply when done. Select a customer in the Customer column. Note that QuickBooks Online Advanced populates the default settings for that customer. In the Product/Service column, set the product sold for the customer. Enter the quantity and rate for the product and check the total amount. To duplicate the invoice, select the line number in the first column and choose the Duplicate Invoice for Multiple Customers option. From the Find a Customer drop-down, select the customer to duplicate the invoice for, then select Next. The individual invoices are now ready to be saved. To make changes to an invoice, just edit the necessary details. To add a new item to a customer, select the plus icon in the Product/Services column and add the necessary details of the product in the new line. With invoices, it is possible to add attachments to an invoice. To do that, select Attach File from the Attachment column and follow the process to upload a document. Note that uploaded attachments are accessible from the gear icon. When all done, select Save to save your invoices or Save and Send to send them to the customers at the same time. The new invoices now appear in the Sales Center. Batch importing options with QuickBooks Online Advanced. Clients can import lists by selecting Import Data from the gear icon. In addition, they can import transactions in CSV format with QuickBooks Online Advanced from the Batch Transaction screen. As with any imported data, it's important that clients prepare the CSV file before uploading it so that QuickBooks Online Advanced can process the information. To prepare the file, clients can download and customize a template CSV file from the upload screen. They can add up to 150 transactions per template. Pro Advisor tip: QuickBooks Online Advanced also allows clients to import unlimited budgets. To import budgets, select the gear icon and then Budgeting. To find out more, read this article on creating and importing budgets. Clients can also batch import data via the Spreadsheet Sync add-in in Excel. See the Spreadsheet Sync lesson for more on this option. Using the batch transaction screen to import in batches. Let's see how to import transactions in batches through the batch transaction screen. Navigate to the batch transaction screen. Choose the type of transaction from the Select Transaction Type drop-down. Select Import CSV. Select Browse and follow the steps to upload the prepared CSV file. To add any new customers from the CSV file, check the Add All New Customers to QuickBooks box. Then select Next. Map the fields to the column headings on the CSV file. Make sure to map at least the fields marked with an asterisk. Once the mapping is complete, select Next. The imported transactions appear on the batch transaction screen. Check that everything is imported correctly and make adjustments if necessary. When done, select Save. The new transactions are now saved and appear in the Sales Center. Fixing issues with batch importing. At times, you or your client may run into issues when batch importing files via the Import CSV option on the batch transaction screen. Let's look at some common issues using the spreadsheet example below. Select the drop-downs to find out more about how to fix them. File format issues. Remember that you or your client can only import CSV files via the batch transaction screen. If the fields when mapping the spreadsheet show non-alphanumeric lines such as these, it's an indication that the spreadsheet isn't in the correct format. Just save the spreadsheet again as a CSV file and re-import it. Field mapping issues. If there are blank lines when mapping the fields in the importing process, it means that the spreadsheet lacks a header for a column. As you can see, the customer heading was missing from the spreadsheet. Make sure all the columns have a heading before saving and re-importing the CSV file. Numbers missing from rows. If, after mapping the columns, an error message saying, "Number missing in one of the rows," appears, it means that the spreadsheet contains some empty rows or misalignments. To correct it, make sure you or your client use the sample spreadsheet provided and remove any gaps. Customer, product, or service missing. If you or your client encounter an error message suggesting that a customer, product, or service is not in QuickBooks Online, it means that this needs to be added manually via the Sales Center before re-importing the spreadsheet. Incorrect syntax for subcategories and subcustomers. When defining the relationships between parent and subcategories, use the category, subcategory, or customer, subcustomer format. For example, in MB Property Management 0969 Ocean View Road, the customer, MB Property Management, is separated by a colon from the subcustomer 0969 Ocean View Road. Make sure to use the correct syntax rather than separate rows, as shown in the incorrect spreadsheet below. Incorrect date format. The date format used in the source CSV may differ from the setup in QuickBooks Online Advanced. Using the date format drop-down can help eliminate lots of formatting work in Excel. Summing up. Learning outcomes. Well done. In this lesson, we covered managing transactions in batches in QuickBooks Online Advanced. Knowledge recap. Now you can advise your clients on how to use the batch transaction screen and how to troubleshoot the importing of transactions in batches. Next steps. In the next lesson, we'll look at managing expense claims in QuickBooks Online Advanced.